Hi everyone, welcome to our topic, and this is your corporate level strategy. This is still part of your finals under your innovation and strategic formulation. Okay, so your corporate level strategy refers to the top management approach or the game plan for administering and directing the entire concern of your entity. This is based on the business environment and the internal capabilities that your company have. And this is also called your grand strategy. Okay? So your business level strategy is connected to your corporate level strategy. And your corporate level strategy is also called your grand strategy. It reflects the combination and patterns of business moves, actions, and hidden goals in the strategic interest of the concern, considering all of the various business division, the product line, the customer groups, and the technologies and the other factors affecting your strategy. Now, your corporate level strategy is developed by the company's highest level of management. So kindly take note of that. It is created or developed by the highest level of management considering the company's overall growth and opportunities in future. Okay, it is by the highest level of management. Another, your corporate level strategy describes the and direction. Orientation and direction of the enterprise in the long run and the overall boundaries, which acts as the basis for formulating the company's middle and low-level strategies. Okay? Just like your functional strategy or your business level strategy. Now, while formulating your corporate level strategy, the company's available resources and environmental factor are kept in mind. Okay, so your resources and your environmental or external factors are also considered. It is concerned with the decision regarding the two-way flow of company information and resources between various level of management. The two-way flow. Okay, it is concerned with decision making regarding the two-way flow. Okay, of your information and resources. Now, in short, or in other words, okay, in short terms, or in other words, your corporate level strategy implies the topmost degree of strategic decision making, which now covers the decision plans, which are concerned with the company's objective, procurement, and optimal allocation of resources and coordination of business strategies. Okay. Your classification of corporate level strategies, you have basically four classification. You have number one, your stability strategy. Stability strategy. The second one is your expansion strategy. The third one is your retrenchment strategy. And the fourth one is your combination strategy. Okay. Again, the first one is your stability strategy. Under your stability strategy, stability is critical to business goal, which is required to defend the existing interest and strengths to follow the business objective and to continue with the existing business to keep the efficiency in the operation. In the stability strategy, the firm continues with its existing business and product markets as well as its maintenance of current level of endeavors as the firm is satisfied with the marginal growth. Okay? You are securing the stability. Number one, let us say for the income. You are securing the stability with the level of your income from period to period. Okay? The next strategy is your expansion. This is also called your growth strategy. Expansion strategy or your growth strategy. The growth strategy or the expansion strategy is your strategy where the company's business is re-evaluated so as to extend the capacity and the scope of business and considerably increase the overall investment in the business. Okay? So your expansion includes your vertical integration, horizontal integration. Okay? In the expansion strategy, the enterprise looks for the considerable growth either from the existing business of product or by entering a new business, which may or may not be related to the firm's existing business. So it's not necessarily that if you expand, the expansion will be about the same business that you are currently operating. Basically, your expansion strategy encompasses diversification, merger and acquisition, and strategic alliance. Okay? Let's write it down. So we will be tackling that later on. Number 1, diversification. Number 2, you have your merger and acquisition. And the last one is strategic alliance. Okay, that is under your expansion. The number 3 strategy, overall strategy under corporate level, is your retrenchment strategy. This is pursued when the company opts for decreasing its scope of activity or operation. In retrenchment strategy, a number of business activity are retrenched or cut or reduced. Okay? So you are like dropping a segment or dropping a certain part of the operation. That's part of your retrenchment. That is, in order to minimize cost as a response to the firm's financial crisis. Sometimes, the business itself is dropped by selling out or by liquidation. So, it's not only a specific segment, okay? It could be the entire business. And maybe you would be creating another one. Therefore, the areas where there is a problem is identified and the reason for those problems are diagnosed after that corrective or remedial steps are taken to solve the problem. So when the firm concentrates on the ways to reverse the process of decline, it is called a turnaround strategy. Again, when the firm concentrates on the way to reverse the process of decline, it is called your turnaround strategy. However, if it drops the loss-making venture or part of the company or minimizes the function undertaken, it is called divestment or divestiture strategy. Okay? You are dropping the loss-making venture and you minimize the function undertaken. That is called your divestment or divestiture strategy. But of course, if nothing works, definitely you'll do the last option, which is your liquidation strategy. So that is that is under your retrenchment strategy. Number 1, turnaround. Number 2, divestment or divestiture. And last one, your liquidation strategy. And we go now to the combination strategy. Your combination strategy. Okay, the enterprise combines any or all of the 3 corporate strategies so as to fulfill the firm's requirement. The firm may choose to stabilize some of the areas of activity while expanding and other are retrenched. Okay, so you do the combination of the other related strategies. Okay. Ayan. So again, this is your corporate level strategy. In your corporate level strategy, you're considering what business you should be in, okay, or what business should the corporation be competing in, and how can the business be managed so that you create your synergy. Okay, another keyword here is your synergy or your goal congruence. That is creating more value by working together than if they were freestanding or than if they are done differently or separately by the different level or subunits in the entity. Okay? Number one here, okay, by the way, let's just reiterate your diversification. It initiates the creation of the value of your shareholder through number one, your merger and acquisition, your strategic alliances, the joint venture, and internal development. Your diversification will create, again, your synergy. Okay, let's talk about your vertical integration. Your vertical integration is becoming its own supplier or distributor through backward integration or forward integration. Okay, there. For your vertical integration, when you say backward integration, you buy entity that is your supplier. So you become the supplier of your own business. When you say forward integration, you buy entities that are serving as your distribution channel. So you yourself as an entity, you also become your own distributor. Okay? So you produce the product. When you talk about backward, you are now supplying your own material for production. When you talk about forward integration, you are creating your own distribution channel already. You have also your strategic alliances. Your strategic alliances is similar to your vertical integration, such that you combine with other entities so that you eliminate the market competition. That's part of your strategic alliances. And of course, in your diversification, do you still remember your diversification? This is initiated through, again, your merger, acquisition, strategic alliance, joint venture, and internal development. A firm may diversify into related businesses. So number one, through horizontal relationship, that is sharing intangible resources such as core competency in marketing and sharing tangible resources such as production facility. Okay, this is your vertical integration, by the way. The thing, okay, or the topic I've been uh, discussing earlier. You have number one, forward, and number two, your backward. Related to your corporate level strategy is, of course, the understanding of your value chain. If you remember your value chain, that is the whole process, or that is the process involved, every process or every steps involved in creating your product. So from the purchase of material to the production until the distribution, that is part of your value chain. You analyze your value chain so that you know where to improve and what type of improvement you are going to adopt. Okay. In your value chain, you are trying to create value not only for the entity, but of course on the product and to the customer. You determine whether activity should be internal or external. And of course, you identify how you coordinate the activity and how you improve those activity. As well as, of course, the purpose is to improve the product. And number two is your cost. Of course, minimizing the cost of the entire entity. So why you do vertical integration? Number one, for market power, and number two, for efficiency. So that you penetrate the market. You do not have to compete. Number one, you with your supplier. So instead of competing, what you will be focusing on is on how you can penetrate the market. Okay? And of course, efficiency in your operation. Strategic alliance. Under your strategic alliance, you have your non-equity alliance. That is cooperation between firms that is managed through contracts without cross-equity holding. You also have your joint venture. This is under your strategic alliance. Your joint venture is cooperating firms and form an independent firm in which they invest. So this is another or separate entity. And the lastly is your equity alliance. Your equity alliance is the cooperative contracts that are supplemented by equity investment by one partner in other partner. Okay? Sometimes this is your investment where you are reciprocated, or these investment are reciprocated. Your diversification is the widest area of your corporate level strategy. Why do you diversify? You diversify because number one, you have your motives of diversification, the modes of diversification, and the measurement of diversification. Let's start with the motives. Number one, it is to enhance the value of the entity by having a wider economic scope, transferring core competencies, and brand name that is exportable. So, your related diversification enables the firm to benefit from horizontal relationship, and you create economies of scope. Okay, your economies of scope allow business to leverage core competency, you allow entities to share related activity, and to enjoy greater revenue. That is under your economies of scope. For related business gain, okay, you gain market power by pooled negotiating power or vertical integration. Okay, so included yung minention ko kanina. Sharing core competency is one of the primary potential advantages okay, of your diversification. Now, in order for diversification to be most successful, it is important that similar requirements of core sharing competency must be in the value chain. So that should be integrated on the value chain. The next one, the target market should be the same even if the product are very different already. So you adapt the same market. And the method of production should be the same. Okay, the method of production must be the same. Corporation can also achieve synergy by sharing activity. Okay? Sharing activity across the business unit. It can be sharing of tangible and value creating activities which can provide payoff. Okay? Number one, you do cost saving through elimination of job facilities and related expenses. So dito papasok si retrenchment mo. Retrenchment, let us say, of a significant or unit or a unit or uh, yung specific unit, I should say, not significant, a specific unit, or if not, the entire entity. Okay? You can also do this by revenue enhancement through increased differentiation and sales growth. Again, your market power can lead to creation of value and synergy through pooled negotiation. That is gaining greater bargain power with supplier and customer, and of course, your vertical integration. Yun yung na-mention ko kanina. Okay? The other related items or things under your diversification is the transaction cost perspective. Under the transaction cost perspective, every market transact involving some of the transaction cost. Ano ba yung mga transaction cost mo? Madami. Search cost, negotiation cost, contract cost, monitoring, enforcement cost, and admin cost. You also have unrelated diversification. Your unrelated diversification, okay, let me write it down on our whiteboard. You have unrelated diversification. Your unrelated diversification enables a firm to benefit from vertical or hierarchical relationship between corporate office and individual business unit. The corporate parenting advantage provide competent central function. Your restructuring will distribute to the asset, capital, and management restructuring and to portfolio management. What are the other means of diversification? Other means is merger and acquisition. Okay? Merger and acquisition. Naalala mo pa si merger or acquisition? That is, another is pooling resources of other companies with the firm's own resources. So, si merger, that is the combination or the consolidation of two entities that are relatively rare and that are two firms that are relatively equal basis. Kapag sinabi mo namang acquisition, that is involving buying of one firm of another firm. So, iba si merger, iba si acquisition. Pag merger, they are combining their business. Si acquisition, entity A will buy entity B. Okay? However, in accounting, medyo similar lang naman sila ng treatment. But in here, in strategic management, in terms of definition, magkaiba sila, okay? So, your takeover premiums for acquisition are typically very high. Your competing firm can imitate advantages, and the competing firm can copy synergies. And the management egos get in the way of sound business decision. So, balikan natin ngayon si divestment mo. Divestment. Your divestment can be a common result of an acquisition. And divesting business can accomplish by many different objectives. This includes enabling managers to focus their efforts more directly on the firm's core business. Another is by providing the firm with more resources to spend on more attractive alternative and raising cash to help fund existing business. Let's go back to the slides. Ayan. So again, your motives of diversification is to devaluate, that is for growth maximization, and for neutral value. Okay. Strategic alliances and joint ventures are cooperative relationship with potential advantages of the ability to enter new market through greater financial resources and the ability to reduce manufacturing or other costs in the value chain. Okay. This is also the ability to diffuse and develop new technology. You also have what you call your corporate entrepreneurship, if you are familiar with that. Okay? Corporate entrepreneurship. Okay, so please take note of the reasons of your acquisition. I'm just flashing it on your screen. Okay. So for your corporate entrepreneurship and new venture, there is no need to share with the wealth with alliance or partners. So ano lang ang kailangan mong gawin, okay? No need to face difficulties associated with combining activities across the value chain. However, the limitation of this is that okay, so nawala lang saglit. Let me share the whiteboard anyway. The limitation of your corporate entrepreneurship is that it is time consuming and it needs continual development of new capabilities. And managerial motives mo dyan, managers may act in their own self-interest, eroding rather than enhancing value creation. Okay? Under your corporate entrepreneurship. And the last one under your anti-takeover tactics is including your green mail, golden parachute, poison pills. However, that is more on your financial management side already. So that is for your corporate level strategy. Again, important points mo dito would be your diversification. Okay? Of course, don't forget the main main strategies when you do your corporate level decision making and corporate level strategies. Okay?